Have you ever wondered why certain people feel special to us? People we feel the need to please, capture their attention, or even gain their approval? This doesn't happen with everyone, and that's what makes it so fascinating. Something profound is happening in our emotional and psychological world when this occurs. Today, we're going to explore why we feel this way, where it comes from, and most importantly, how we can use this self-discovery to better understand ourselves and grow as individuals. To begin, we are social beings. Our brains are wired to seek connection with others because this has been key to our survival since ancient times. But beyond biology, when we feel a special affinity towards someone, our brain activates reward systems through hormones like dopamine, which gives us pleasure, and oxytocin, which strengthens our sense of bonding and closeness. This means that pleasing that person makes us feel good. That person represents something pleasant, something our brain wants to repeat. That's why, when someone matters to us, we feel driven to seek their validation and attention. It's a natural response, but the real question is, why does this particular person trigger this in you and not someone else? To understand this better, let's look back at our childhood. According to attachment theory, our earliest experiences with caregivers and important figures shape how we relate to others as adults. If we learned that pleasing and being good guaranteed us love, affection, or validation, we might carry that pattern into the present. For example, if as children we felt we needed to work hard to be recognized by someone, it's possible that as adults, certain people awaken that same unconscious need. We want to please them because we feel that their approval is important, and through it, we can reconnect with that unmet need from the past. This is where Carl Jung's concept of projection comes into play. Sometimes when we meet someone we perceive familiar traits, aspects we admire, or even something we feel is missing within us. It's as if our unconscious says, "Here is something I need to look at more closely." That person might reflect something significant for our personal growth, even if we're not fully aware of it. For example, you may want to please someone who reminds you of an important figure in your life, a parent, a teacher, or even a past partner. In this case, it's not the person themselves, but what they represent to you that drives your need for approval. Of course, sometimes this feels like magic. We feel chemistry with someone, and this chemistry can be determined by subtle signals, their tone of voice, body language, energy, or even biological factors like scent. These signals activate pleasant emotions in us that create a sense of affinity. This chemistry is not under our conscious control. It's our body and mind recognizing something special. But what lies behind that chemistry? Often it reflects emotional compatibility, or a need to connect with something that person symbolizes. Wanting to please someone also relates to our need to belong. As human beings, we all want to feel accepted and valued. But not everyone carries the same weight in our emotional world. We tend to want to please those whose validation we feel can give us security, self-esteem, or a sense of importance. However, this also brings up a key reflection. Are we seeking their approval to fill a void within ourselves? Often, wanting to please someone is an unconscious attempt to feel sufficient or valued because somewhere deep down, we doubt our own worth. In some cases, wanting to please a particular person may be tied to a need to resolve unresolved internal conflicts. For example, if we experienced rejection or a lack of recognition in the past, we may feel a special connection toward people who, in some way, make us relive that same scenario. This can be an unconscious attempt to rewrite the narrative and obtain the validation we felt we lacked. The concept of the unconscious bond stems from our emotional history and how certain people awaken emotions or memories within us, even if we are not consciously aware of it. This can be related to attachment patterns, secure, anxious, or avoidant, or to emotional dynamics that feel familiar to us. In this sense, it's not so much about the person themselves, but about what they represent to us on a deeper level. Not everyone triggers this emotional resonance in us. Often, we seek to please those who we feel hold special significance for our emotional or psychological development. This can be due to emotional affinities, physical or intellectual attraction, a sense of familiarity or unique connection. Our minds are constantly evaluating, both consciously and unconsciously, who is worth forming a stronger bond with. Here are some questions you can ask yourself. What does this person represent to me? Do they remind me of someone from my past? Why does their opinion matter more to me than others? What emotions do I feel when I'm around this person? Security, joy, fear, insecurity? Am I seeking their approval because I feel I lack something internally? What aspect of my life or identity connects with this person? Answering these questions can help you uncover what's behind your desire to please. Sometimes this process reveals parts of ourselves that we need to heal, accept, or develop. Conscious self-observation. Take a moment to observe your thoughts and emotions when you're near this person. Without judgment, simply observe. Internal dialogue. Ask yourself if you truly need this person's validation, or if you can give yourself the love and recognition you seek. Journaling. Write down what you feel and think. Often putting it into words helps you see patterns and better understand your emotions. Work on your self-esteem. Acknowledge your achievements, your strengths, and remember that your value does not depend on others' approval. Talk to someone you trust or a therapist. Sometimes we need support to untangle the deep emotions behind these desires. Wanting to please someone is a dance between our conscious emotions and unconscious needs. Recognizing this process can be a powerful tool for understanding ourselves. Instead of judging this desire, we can use it as an opportunity to explore our motivations, heal past wounds, and build more authentic connections. The desire to please someone isn't inherently bad. It's a reflection that we are human, emotional, and seeking connection. The key is not to lose our authenticity in the process. As Carl Rogers, a pioneer of humanistic psychology, once said, "When I accept myself just as I am, I can change." Remember, you don't need anyone's validation to be enough. You are valuable just as you are, and true connection happens when we show up authentically, without masks, without the need to please others. Sometimes, that person you want to please is simply a disguised teacher, pointing you toward your own self-acceptance. Because when you know and accept yourself, external approval becomes a gift, not a necessity.